All right, welcome back, guys, to the World Championship Series European Challenger League. My name's Kyle Laris alongside Targa, and apparently they've already started the game. So let's just jump right on into the first game between Mr. Welmu, God, and DarkHydra. I don't think I'm ever going to get used to what. Of all the pictures that we could have chosen, why did it have to be that one? But anyway, so spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our blue Protoss. He goes by the name of NRS Welmu. And spawning up to the top right, we have Mr. DarkHydra as our red Terran. So, TVP.
Yeah, and Hydra is saying that he had some issues early game. I'm not sure if they're gonna or not. Yeah.
I guess they are.
Yeah.
What happened? He had 200 minerals?
Yeah, he said that the game froze, and when it started again, he had 200 minerals.
Yeah, he's up. He's way up there. All right, so we'll get this regame going in just a second here. But for DarkHydra, again, in Heart of the Swarm right now, his TVP is not looking too bad. Around 52% win ratio across around 30 maps. So it's not too bad for Hydra. But going up against Welmu, a player that is so hungry for Premier, is going to be really, really difficult. Welmu, again, if you weren't following the Premier qualifiers at the very start of Season 1 for WCS EU, he was every single time consistent, top 4, top 8, out of massive brackets, but never got that very, very last spot to qualify into Premier. So, tough stuff for Welmu, and he is coming into this fighting.
Yeah. Do you know which players Hydra played against? Like, was it the top Protoss players? Or was it like the
through
mediocre?
Qualification? Do you mean?
Or when you mentioned his stats, like, do you remember any of the names? Like, did he play against like the Grubby, Titan, and so on?
It probably wasn't.
Okay.
If I have to take a hazard a guess, so yeah, probably not exactly the top caliber, and. By all accounts, Welmu is, in Europe, that top caliber of Protoss right now. He's very good.
He's one of the best European Protosses.
Yeah. So, countdown's begun once again here for game number 1, as we'll have Welmu and Hydra in a sec. But Hydra's one of the youngest Europeans really participating in WCS Europe right now.
Yeah, because there's an age limit. I think that...
Actually, maybe he is the youngest.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
I know that Hero Marine, he probably would have qualified, and he's like 15 or something.
Oh, dude, his age has been hindering him for eons. There's been so many times where it's like, is it time for him to play in the EPS?
No, it's not.
No, he's still only 15. In July, I believe, we get over that barrier, and then Hero Marine can dominate the German scene and then come along and do some WCS as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Fantastic moments.
Yeah.
All right, we can jump into game number 1 now, guys, as we have Mr. Welmu and DarkHydra going up against one another here.
His name was spelled wrong. I don't think it's Yang Mingshol.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh well, we have Mr. MC spawning up in the top right-hand corner here as our red Protoss, aka Welmu, and spawning down to the bottom right as our blue Terran, we have Mr. DarkHydra. Our production has his face palmed.
Well, do you have any idea how Hydra plays TVP? Like, is it?
I think it might be very similar to the TVZ, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the way that Thorstein played the Hellbat drops yesterday, it made it look very hard to stop it. I mean, Mana did it best. The Hellbats did no damage at all, but still, Thorstein got so far ahead. Because Mana was forced to play like more passive and not as greedy as he wished he could.
Yeah. And, you know, with that, I wouldn't be surprised if Hydra went for as aggressive a build. I also wouldn't be surprised if we even saw SCV pulls as well. Because Hydra likes this. And no disrespect to the guy, I love watching it. I adore watching that kind of play. Just saying... throw caution to the wind and just go for it. Complete guns a-blazing. So we'll see if Hydra wants to do that again. But Welmu is the kind of Protoss player that, if given the opportunity to, and given the map, he will be very aggressive even on one base against a Terran, he will go for those blink builds to try and kill someone on one base and try and snipe out Tech Labs before Stim finishes, for example, which is a Terran needs to scout out. It's not going to happen on Whirlwind. It's a bit harder to make that work on this map, but we'll see for future maps.
Yeah, I think that something might be coming from Welmu. He took both of his gases really quick. So I would imagine that this will be, I mean, I would love to see like a proxy Oracle player or something. It's always cool to see. Anyways, Hydra made a Reaper, and he's going to scout out Welmu. And also Welmu is going for a semi-fast Nexus. Not as fast as Mana was doing it yesterday. Mana built his Nexus before he took his gases. So Welmu, either he's playing a bit more safe, or he wants to do something tech-oriented.
Will he be able to get this probe? It's going to be very close. No, he gets forced away, and just barely gets away there with the last shot from that Mothership core, not killing it off. 2 Marines on the way at any given time here for Mr. Hydra, as well as that expansion going down and bunker. He knows that his opponent's going for an expansion, though, which is a good tell for him in the end. And we'll see if Welmu wants to play anything aggressive on 2 base, but with this expansion going up and him probably knowing how Hydra plays, I won't be surprised if he played a little bit more passively.
Yeah, there's a Robo facility coming out as well. So I wouldn't expect any aggression. I mean, there are some immortal builds you can do.
Oh, yeah.
But Welmu does not have the perfect scout of what the Hydra is doing. He doesn't even know that there's a command center being started. I mean, this is, you can always make the assumption, but I've seen some builds where the Terran will make the bunker, fill it up with Marines, and then they have something fishy going inside their base. So Welmu is definitely going to have to scout very quickly with either hallucinated Phoenixes or an Observer. And I would imagine that he's going to make an Observer when he gets enough money now.
I'm curious as to why we have a little probe hidden down here for Welmu. He may end up throwing down pylons to actually go for some aggression. It's, again, something that Welmu does like to put into his repertoire, as Hydra is just going to separate his Marines up a little bit, making sure that nothing crazy is going to go on in the back of his base, and get his +1 weapons on the way. I'm liking that from Hydra. Very, very quick upgrades here from him.
Yeah, he doesn't actually know that Welmu went for the Robo. So there's still a possibility that his opponent might go for a Stargate. Of course, we know that that's not true. He's going to see the Observer coming at him soon. I mean, of course, if he's really paying attention, then he's going to see the Observer. Maybe snipe it if he has enough energy. So he should know that his opponent is going to go for a Robo. And also, Welmu will have a decent scouting on what Hydra is doing. And I think then the game might loosen up a bit, because right now both of them are playing really, really defensively.
Another thing that we do see from Welmu from time to time is really kind of very, very aggressive focus to Colossus timings, just on like 2 bases and things like that. But he's going for the double forge. So from that point on, where he's probably just going to kind of macro it up once again, try and get his 3rd base up and running. He just wants to spot when his opponent takes that 3rd command center, and then he feels a little bit more comfortable to take his 3rd nexus with that. And he's going to try and scout out, but he's already throwing down pylons.
Okay, so I think I figured out what Hydra is going to do. This is something that Hero Marine used to do quite a lot, and I mean, it's really good, but well, it's an interesting style nonetheless. He's going to get out he's going to wait until he has a few medevacs, and then he's just going to start walking across the map. He's not going to take a 3rd base, and when he gets like 4 to 6 medevacs, he's going to start. He's either going to just load up everything and go for the main base, or he's going to start dropping and hope that Welmu messes it up. This is very interesting. I'm not sure if Welmu recognizes it. Of course, he's making a Colossus, and now he's making a 2nd one. He's also upgrading on his Forge. So I'm not sure if he's going to have enough units out in time to stop this.
Yeah, there's certainly potential. I mean, he has a lot of Marines out right now, 26 in total. Really, really pack a very, very heavy punch, especially with that +1 armor that's going to come along since +1 weapons is already finished. And we'll see if he's able to hold this off. He has a few sentries at the front, which are going to help him force field off things quite nicely. But for Welmu, having not spotted the fact that a 3rd command center is going down behind a missile turret, making it even harder for an observer to spot that, Well, he just goes for his third command center anyway, because why not? Oh, wait. He did see it with a hallucinated Phoenix.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I don't think that this was Hydra's plan. He scanned Welmu's base, and he saw the Colossus standing there, and he saw another Colossus being chronoed out as well. So I guess he figured that his push wouldn't do any damage, and then he has to think of something else. Now he's going to be a bit behind in tech. He doesn't have an armory up yet, so he can't really continue his upgrades. He also only has one engineering bay. No Vikings are being made as a response to the Colossus, and he's not getting any Ghost Academy or something like that. But he's going to try to do a drop. He has loaded up 2 medevacs filled with units, but Welmu has the perfect observer placement.
Yep, very, very nice there, and that's going to be a great hindrance here to Hydra if he tries to continue this. One Zealot will push away a Marine, and we have a few units here already. So technically, he should be able to force this away with minimal losses. Maybe a pylon, but not much else. Not even the pylon.
Yeah, but the problem is that Welmu sent almost everything to defend. So now there's a possibility that Hydra might be able to snipe this third base. Okay, there's a Colossus and the Nexus Cannon. That's enough to push this back. And Hydra saw that Welmu was, again, sending everything. So he sends his 2 dropships back, just loads the units and then picks them up again.
Yep, nice little bit of aggression here from Hydra, but it's not working, even though Welmu has been stretched very, very thinly with the arguably small composition that he did have. He's still defending it very, very well. There's one Marine sat down here. I'm kind of surprised he's still alive. But at the same time, with that Hydra now securing himself a third base and getting the macro going a little bit further, I'm liking this. I'm curious to see where Hydra goes with this macro play, because, again, I haven't really seen too many fully fledged macro games out of Hydra just yet.
Yeah, but usually at this point, the Terran should be ahead on army supply, or at least ahead on supply in general.
That's very true, yeah.
And because Hydra was most likely going to try to do the push that I talked about earlier with a few medevacs and then a lot of Marines, and this was denied by Welmu's or its choice of tech. This kind of forced Hydra to change his plan. He had to take a third base. Again, I don't think he really wanted to do that. And then now he's kind of catching up on tech and upgrades, but he's a little bit behind Welmu. So I think he needs to do some damage with a few dropships. But the thing is, Welmu, he probably won't move out until he has Storm and is nearing a maxed army.
Yeah, and the thing is that with Storm and with 3-3 finishing up way quicker than 3-3 is ever going to finish up here for Hydra, then Welmu is going to have a huge, huge wealth in terms of his army composition, in terms of how strong it is just in general. Even one Zealot here being very, very annoying. Gets 1 kill. Does he get a second? Nope. But still very strong. A little bit of a drop here from Hydra. Not really doing too much in the end as well. A few units warping in to try and deny that once again.
Yeah, Welmu's not giving him any opportunity at all to do any damage. And now he just picked off both of the medevacs with the High Templars. And the Zealots are eventually going to clean this up. Welmu just added, how many gates is it? 3 more gates. And I think he's nearing the point where it's time for him to make a push.
Yep, those poor Marauders and Marine get completely sandwiched in between Twilight Council and Zealot and die off. Now, Hydra here, he's facing a very, very tough situation. Once Welmu ends up maxing out, he can start moving around the map and perhaps applying a great amount of pressure here to Hydra, who is mixing in some Hellbats. I like the choice, but will it be enough against an army that actually is not that Zealot heavy? Only 13 Zealots, and he's warping in a lot more Stalkers here. So cool little composition here from Welmu.
Yeah, and I think that Hydra has a pretty good idea that something might be happening soon. And the thing is, I'm not sure how he's going to be able to stop this. Now, he's not going to have enough ghosts out. He's building 2 at a time at the moment. I don't think he has any ghosts out on the map right now. No, he doesn't. So he won't really have enough energy. Well, he will have some energy, but as long as Welmu controls his High Templars and his units in general, then the EMPs shouldn't be enough for him to do the sufficient damage to push Welmu back. I think this fight is going to be all about positioning, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if Welmu can kind of catch him at a very, very good angle, then it should be okay. But the Hydra had a good setup himself in terms of the concave that he would have allowed himself to gain. And those High Templars now moving on forwards. Those, oh, one storm is very, very nice. Second storm and third storm don't connect. Oh, but those two storms at the very end do get good connections with that Bioforce. That really severely weakens him. He's hitting him just before the Terran 3-3 actually finishes up. This could really do a lot of damage here to Hydra, but at the same time, not being that Zealot heavy kind of caused him a few problems with that Bio killing off the Zealots very quickly, but still there's too many Stalkers here. Welmu now tries to just march on 180 supply to 106, and Hydra has to pull off SCVs. A very passive game in all accounts, with Welmu being able to shut down all of the drop aggression, but now Welmu just standing tall.
Yeah, he hit the perfect timing. Just before Hydra's 3-3 was about to be done.
GG.
And he sent the High Templars in first, so that he could get an advantage in the positioning. First, if Welmu didn't have any High Templars there,
yeah,
the fight would have gone into Hydra's advantage, I think. But he didn't send out his ghost to kill or to snipe the High Templars. So he got off a huge amount of storms, which led to Hydra. He had to move his army, and he moved his army back into his natural base, and the Colossus just killed everything.
Very, very well played out there by Welmu. The storms, pretty darn good. One or two of them kind of bungled, but in the end, when you've got that many storms at your disposal, one or two of them hitting not so well is fine when the other 5 do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it was more than enough.
Yeah. All right, so game number 2 will be on Akelon here. And then if we need a game number 3, it will be on Daybreak. I think Akelon, once again, could be a good map for Welmu here. If he plays that out for Welmu, I'm pretty sure that one of his best maps, one of his best matchups was indeed versus Terran during not only Wings of Liberty, but also in Heart of the Swarm here. So going on to game number 2, Akelon, Hydra's going to have to really pull something out.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see some helmets.
Yeah. They got there in the end, but not really.
Yeah, but I mean, having them dropped.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because this was the map yesterday that Thorstein decided to go for Hellbat drops.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much space for a Terran to control with the Hellbats. Now, the Protoss has to spread out their units, but the main base is gigantic, and there's a fairly big distance between the main nexus and the natural nexus.
Yeah, that's true.
So controlling both of these nexuses with stalkers or whatever as anti-air, it's hard. Also, I mean, he doesn't have to go for a Hellbat drop. He can go for the same strategy that he wanted to do last game. If he gets out a lot of Marines, a few medevacs, and then just starts dropping, and then maybe takes a bit later third base, I think this should be enough to do a lot of damage to Welmu. Because he was moving around with his whole army defending a drop.
Yeah.
Now, if you drop at 2 different locations at the same time, and especially if the locations are far ahead from each other, and it's obviously much harder to defend. And we saw that Welmu's multitasking might not be the best. He pulled back everything. Also, I think that he might change up his style this game, because if he does this style again and Hydra spots it, I think the game will look way different.
Yeah, we'll see if Hydra wants to mix it up. I agree with you. I think he should try and do something a little bit different. But jumping on to game 2 now here, Akelon Waste is our map between Welmu and DarkHydra once again. Hydra is unfortunately on the verge of being eliminated here from Challenger if he loses this last game. And spawning up to the top left as our red Protoss, he goes by the name of NRS Welmu. And spawning down to the bottom right as our blue Terran, he goes by the name of Acer Hydra.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, do you think that do you think that Welmu needs to take any risks this game?
I don't think he does, but I think maybe he will go aggressive. I think if there's any map for him to go for a blink one base play, I think this is a map. certainly this is the map, of course, 100%, as this cliff does allow you to just go for that kind of aggression. And considering where Hydra's put his first barracks, if he then flies that to a further down location to then add a tech lab on for stim, because very rare that you would have the tech lab on the barracks at the front, you would swap it out for a factory or something like that, then there's all the room in the world for Welmu to do something like that.
Yeah, I agree. And I would love to see something like a blink play coming out from Welmu.
Nice.
Yeah. But so far it looks very similar to the game one. He took the gases at the same time. He's also scouting pretty fast. He's going to see that the Hydra is going for a Reaper this time. Last game he didn't see anything. But this time he's at least going to check the gas. And maybe he's even going to get walled in with the probe.
Maybe.
Let's see. No, Hydra's going to let it slip out again.
That's very useful there for Mr. Welmu. The supply depot is going to go down in the end, but that Reaper is now on the way. And Twilight Council, sorry, not Twilight Council, Cybernetics Core is on the way as well behind this. That pylon at the back for Welmu is very, very indicative of him actually going for a Twilight Council on this map. So there is still that opportunity, but he still only has 2 in each gas. So it's looking, as you said before, very, very similar to game number 1.
Yeah, and I would expect him to make a mothership core soon.
Ooh. But he's blocking with an engineering bay. This might prompt Welmu to do something different.
Yeah.
Because he didn't start the Zealot straight away. So it's going to be late to actually block this.
Yeah, this is clever by Hydra. Welmu didn't start a Zealot last game either.
Yeah.
He just went for... he rushed up for a mothership core. And this is obviously very smart. It's going to delay the expand for a long, long time. Now there's a Reaper coming in as well, and this Reaper is going to be able to kite the Zealot.
Yeah. What an annoyance here by DarkHydra to kick things off. A very, very cool opener. He's getting the command center behind this as well. And even a bunker goes down for Hydra, realizing that, well, you know, there's still the potential for aggression here in game number 1.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing as he did last time. He pulled out of gas, got the reactor on the barracks, and he's making a lot of Marines. And I would assume that he's going to make an engineering bay at home. Yeah. Okay, so he's doing the exact same thing as he did last time. This time, of course, he has a bigger advantage. His command center will be finished before Welmu's. But now he has to play a bit more defensive, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Welmu isn't going to end up going for the Nexus, so we still got that economical focus down and good to go, but the Robo facility is a little earlier than would be expected of this build. So, as you rightly pointed out, there is still that potential for aggression if Welmu wants to go for it. I don't think he's going to, though. I think he's just going to sit back and rest on his macro.
I think this is too late to go for an aggression. He's still chroning out probes. He's most likely getting an observer, and yeah, indeed he is. So he wants to scout out what Hydra is doing. And Hydra is adding a second gas, more Rexes, most likely going to start a factory soon, and he's also starting his +1 ranged attack. I mean, so far it's looking pretty good for Hydra. A similar game to last game. Maybe this can go more in his favor. I wouldn't be surprised if he really tries to go for the drop tactic that I mentioned last game.
Yeah, it's good on this map. It really is. That Reaper now spots the Stalker moving out, and Stalker is never going to catch that Reaper, regardless of what actually happens here. Although Welmu's trying to reposition himself to try and catch it, but should be able to. Good force field it in. Ooh.
Oh, and it gets in. Okay. So it's going to see the Robo, the 2 extra gateways being built, and also the robotics bay.
Wow.
Okay, now if I was Hydra, I would make a few medevacs, take the map control, and then immediately start the Viking production, and just continuing to pressure Welmu, because with the 3 gateways and just Robo making Colossus, you won't really have too many units. Like, this is a very greedy build, but so far Welmu has only made 1 forge. I don't know if I don't know why he didn't make 2, because last game he made 2 at this pretty much the exact same time. It's a bit interesting. Maybe he wants to try to go for Colossus timing.
Yeah, certainly. But
there's the second one.
He's tricky, that guy. He is. He's a tricky man, and he goes for that second forge. So Still, macro here for Mr. Welmu. 43 probes to 39 SCVs. That Starport is now being added on here for Hydra, as well as the reactor, so he knows that he needs those Vikings out pretty darn quickly. And he is going to get them out at a good time, because unfortunately for Welmu, his Thermal Lance has only just started, so can't really push out with only range 6 Colossus, unless he was going to go with just 1 and try and fake his opponent out, but that doesn't seem to be the case here.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be a very late third base for Hydra. So he's moving out now, just when, or he's going to move out now, when his 2 medevacs are done. I think that Welmu has a pretty good idea of what's going on. He should be positioning his units accordingly. He has observers around on the map, even a pylon on his third base, so that it can spot the dropships. There's an observer moving out around somewhere. No, he's actually sent it back. Okay, so he's going to see this very late. Hydra moving out,
yeah.
That is. And I think when you spot this push that late, this can do some damage.
Yeah, it really can. And I mean, behind this also, now he's seen the 3rd command center going down. So he may think, well, you know, maybe you're being a little bit more passive than I was expecting. But in actual fact, he's not. He's going to try and go down and take his 3rd Nexus during all of this. And now he sees this aggression that's coming along. He doesn't really have that many force fields in this army. Has to be very careful.
Yeah, but there's a 2nd Colossus coming out. So I think he should be fine against this. Unless Hydra starts dropping at like 3 different locations at the same time, just to spread out Welmu. I think it's a really good thing to do on this map. I mean, Welmu is playing as greedy as you can at this point. It's not really that many units, but if it's like if it's a head-on fight, then the 2 Colossus, they're enough. Oh, and he Welmu killed his own Zealot.
Yeah, that's happened to me once or twice. I randomly leave a load of Zerglings there and they all just get squished. I'm like, no, I sacrificed you for nothing. Poor little guys. But yeah, Hydra now, he's doing all right for himself. His supply is looking how it technically should do in a TVZ here, if not a little bit higher. And now with that, well, he's getting his 3rd base up and running. How many Vikings does he actually have? He has no Vikings right now. There's 3 Colossus. And he caught a lot.
Oh. Really nice force fields.
Yeah, very nice force fields. At the cost of like 1 Zealot or so. I mean, resources lost there a bit more in favor here, but at the same time, a good drop here by DarkHydra, trying to stretch his opponent thin. And another drop in the natural as well. He left the photon overcharge there to try and push them on back. Good choices by Welmu, but at the same time, you know, DarkHydra doing all right himself.
Yeah, but the problem is that he's losing all his units and not doing enough damage. But he's going to get the Nexus.
Oh, yes he is. That's a fantastic pick-off there. But now, is he going to be safe against some kind of little counter-aggression? Actually, he can't even counter-aggression because there's still that drop going down here in the main. Another photon overcharge here will be able to push this away. So once again, good defense by Welmu's up in terms of supply. This is...
Yeah, Hydra sacrificed a bunch of units for a Nexus. But it doesn't look like Welmu is going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But the problem for Hydra is that he needs to put up a defense. So now he's adding 3 extra bunkers at home. And also, he lost all his medevacs. I mean, 3 of them survived. He lost 2 medevacs. In total, he lost almost 5 medevacs worth of units, plus 3 medevacs. And he killed a Nexus and a few Zealots. Might be worth it. I don't think so.
Yeah, that was kind of iffy there. We'll now see if Welmu wants to take full advantage of this as he's getting 3-3 out. He's getting that Templar Archives as well. I think once he has Storm, once he has a few High Templars out and about, he could probably just do quite a bit of damage. But if he's going to wait to max out, then that's going to give Hydra a lot of room to not only get this 4th command center up, but also get out a good Viking count. Because for the longest time, he has not had the Viking count. He's only now just gone up to 7. And before, there was really very little there.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's only 4 Colossus. So if he overcommits on the Viking production, then it's going to hurt him. Also, he does not have a Ghost Academy up yet. I think it was just done. Yeah, So his Ghost production will be very late, and Welmu already has some High Templars out. Storm is about to be done. His upgrades are slightly ahead of Hydras. So Welmu can still hit the same timing as he did last time. Okay, so now he's even making more Colossus, getting the charge upgrade, more gateways. I think that he's getting ready for a big push.
It looks like those Hailbats actually going to lead the charge here for Hydra, but at the same time, it's going to be kind of dodgy. He's very, very Marauder heavy right now, not that many Marines. So depends entirely on how many Zealots are going to be in this composition, as long with those Storms as well. Good drop here, though, by Hydra, trying to draw his opponent thin once again across these two locations. And he's actually only just bringing a...
Welmu's not doing anything. Now he warped in some units. He lost way too many probes.
And he lost a High Templar as well, just for nothing.
Yeah.
So kind of a bad trade there by him. And ooh, well, he sees everything that's upgrading there. A lot of units actually left at the back here, so he can't really push forwards just yet. But still, a good trade there by Hydra. 186 supply to 159.
Yeah, but this is what needs to be done. It might sound a bit stupid considering that Hydra is like 30 supply ahead. But he needs to have dropships around the map now, because Welmu is about to attack. Having drops is one of the best ways to dealing with the attack, because the drops are either going to do a ton of damage, or they're going to force the Protoss to go back. And okay, so Welmu is actually not going to go for an attack. He decides to go for fourth base. It might be the correct thing to do in this situation. He lost a ton of probes, a ton of units, and maybe he's not comfortable attacking across a map that's this big, especially when there are medevacs flying everywhere.
At the same time, though, I mean, despite Hydra's army looking very, very potent itself, with 3-3 now finishing up, it's still kind of scary to go up against this many High Templars. Hydra's ghost control and ghost positioning needs to be a damn sight better than game number 1. Otherwise, he's going to take a lot of damage. There's a lot of Hellbats, though. Look at that. Around, well, 14 or so? 12?
Yeah, and I think they're all going to get killed really fast.
Well, yeah. All right, so an extra 3 barracks going down, an extra 3 command centers going down. Hydra trying to move into absolute macro mode. Whoa, Stalkers. Want to be a little bit careful. Did he get a medevac there? I think he did.
Yeah, but in return, Hydra killed High Templar that he scanned. Sniped it, so it's an okay trade.
High Templar's actually moving into position on this ledge here. And how far can they actually fully go? He's going to try and blink forwards and pick off a Viking. That's very, very good control by him. He does snipe out on, so we'll look at EMP on 1 or 2 of those High Templars. A good trade there by Hydra, despite losing one of the ghosts in the end and getting 1 or 2 good storms off. He's still just chasing on this back straight away. One of the Colossus falls over, so does the second one, tripping over on that ledge there. Not exactly the best position for them to be in. And those Stalkers trying to get good trades, but in the end, that was a good engagement by Hydra.
Yeah, he landed one of the best EMPs that he could have wished for.
Yeah.
He took out all the energy from the High Templars, and this forced Welmu to go back, and now he's in a really bad spot, I think.
He's going to try and go for it once again here. A lot of Zealots actually just charging on in. 3-3 on all of these units, not only Protoss, but also Terran. The Bio, will it be able to survive against all of these Zealots? They're constantly crushing on forwards. And Welmu is kind of evening up supplies, but behind this, Hydra has a big bank. So he's going to be able to remax much quicker here than Welmu. But Welmu does have that 4th base up and running now.
Yeah, and he sniped up all the Vikings now. So he's a clever guy. He's adding more robos and starting Colossus production again. He also is adding a Dark Shrine. It can do some damage, but when I'm checking Hydra's base, there are turrets where there's supposed to be turrets. So I don't think the DTs can do any damage, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. He's controlling one turret that, in essence, chokes off all 3 of these bases because these rocks are not down just yet, as well as a missile turret over in the 4th base. So really clever and efficient positioning there by Hydra to really deny that from actually occurring. Even double planetary fortress at that choke. Wow, Hydra, he's not taking any risks.
Yeah, but this is genius.
Yeah.
This is going to make it way harder for Welmu to attack. I still think that this is that Hydra is in a good position, but he can be in an even better position if he starts not counterattacking. I mean, counter dropping. Yes.
There we go.
In different locations. So far, he has only had one drop that really was worth it. The drop where he killed the Nexus, I don't think that was worth it, but the drop where he killed a bunch of probes and a High Templar,
yeah,
it was a magical drop almost.
It was very good, and it didn't cost him that much is a thing.
Yeah.
So just going for more of that is going to give you these small little advantages if he can make it work out.
Yeah, especially now that they're both on 4 bases. So it's even harder to defend everything. Also, Hydra is massing up ghosts, and well, they do quite a lot of damage. But he's behind on Viking production. Welmu is making 3 Colossus at a time. He already has 2 out, a bunch of High Templars, and now that he sees the army moving out from Hydra, I think he's going to be maxed very soon. And it's going to be an even fight, I think. It all comes down to control.
Yeah, it's always that dance between the Stalkers, with the High Templars and the Ghosts, and we'll see who can actually hit the perfect storms or the perfect EMPs. As Welmu's spreading himself very, very nicely against this 6 Colossus against 8 Vikings. They're not going to be able to kill him off that quickly. How many observers does he have? He has 2. One's with the army, 1 isn't. If he kills off that observer, and he does have personal cloaking, I believe.
Yeah, he does.
So those ghosts could cause an absolute ton of damage if that observer actually dies.
Yes, I think Welmu should start making some cannons around on the map just to spot their ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is a very bad spot. Welmu does not want to fight there.
And he killed the observer as well. Yeah. Very important, he does now not have any observers with this army. So Welmu here, he has to be very patient. He has to realize that he has no observer, because that's 18 ghosts there. If they cloak up, they're going to do so much damage.
Oh, he's not realizing.
Yeah, he's not realized. He hasn't created another observer. He hasn't brought the one down from the north to actually help this army out. He hasn't cloaked up just yet. But if Hydra wants to, well,
big storm.
Yeah, very, very big storm. So those ghosts have to pull back for now. They are cloaked though, and he can't see them. And he starts 3 observers instantaneously, knowing that that cloak is a very big thorn in his side.
Yeah, and but Welmu is still trying to be aggressive. I think he realizes that he can do some damage now, even though he doesn't have the observers. The Colossus, I mean, there's nothing that can really stop them. I mean, he's going to take down the rocks now. This is looking really good for Welmu, but again, there are 2 planetaries here. And there are a ton of ghosts. The only thing that Hydra is lacking is Vikings. So if he somehow manages to get close enough to pick down the Colossus, this fight can go in his favor as well. But it's looking a bit harder. But as I said, that Welmu is moving back. He's taking his 5th base, making some cannons, and I think he wants to deny Hydra's 5th base.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good option to do so. I mean, he already knows Planetary Fortress is there. He can just poke away all day at it with this army, or at least just kind of bulldoze it down anyway without him losing any units whatsoever. Just making sure that he can't really establish that base is a fantastic use of all of the army that he does have here. And now, Hydra, I mean, he's kind of in a bit of an odd spot. It gets to a situation in PvT where you're just... Neither player really wants to engage for a long, long, long time because they know that both armies are so potent and so scary that one wrong engagement can leave you completely dead.
Yeah, and finally, Hydra is trying to do some drops. He might get a few probe kills, but he already lost a medevac. He also lost a bunch of units. Will he lose his 2nd one as well? Oh, no, okay. Okay, the High Templar is going to pick it off. Boom. No? What are you doing, Welmu?
Oh, poor little guy.
Okay, there. He killed it.
Storm and feedback.
Yeah.
Really making sure it's double dead.
Yep. And another fun thing to mention, Welmu added 2 more robotics facilities. So he's up to 5 now in total.
But there's 7 Vikings on the way at any given point in time. I think he does not know about the extra 4 robo facilities that he didn't know about before. That's funny.
Yeah, I think it's a safety measure so that he can remax in time if the next fight goes bad for him.
Look at Welmu's bank now in comparison to Hydra's. If he gets a good engagement and then has a ton of gateways behind this, I'm surprised he doesn't have like 30 gates behind this. Because if he did, he could instantly just make so many Zealots, really make it hard for his opponent to engage into. And look how much damage those Vikings are taking. Welmu's doing a really, really good job of controlling these engagements for a little bit. And actually, he's going to actually move in here. How many observers? He has plenty of observers, so you can see all those ghosts. They don't really land that much. They all got completely shredded up by those Colossus. They don't get taken down by those Vikings. And that was a big, big win there for Welmu.
That went better than I expected it would go. Both of them had decent positioning. Welmu did some mistakes, like his Colossus were dancing for a while. But Hydra just didn't have the correct units to fight what Welmu had.
Oh, not at all, and now he's losing even more of his ghosts here. 97 supply to 151. Welmu, despite starting this game out very, very low down, is now in a very strong position of power. Hydra, he's trying to max out again, but he has no more mineral bank, whilst Welmu is sitting at a great, great, huge bank. All he has to do is move back, warp in a ton of units, get 4 Colossus out at any given time, and then A move over to the other side of the map.
Yeah, at this point, Hydra just needs to sit back and defend and hope that Welmu messes up. Because right now, it's going to be almost impossible for him to take a 5th base. There's even a DT blocking the base. He's going to try to go for the other 5th base, of course. But that's... I mean, he's just positioning his army closer to Welmu. And this is a spot where I think Welmu wants to fight him. There are not that many... well, how should I put it? Like, this is not the place where Hydra really wants to fight, especially with the how his army is looking at the moment.
Oh yeah, especially with those cannons as well. It's a minor thing, but every little bit of firepower actually adds up here as Welmu once again pushes on forward. These ghosts aren't really going to last too long, nor are the Vikings either. Every single little bit of Hydra's army is being completely shredded and pushed back, and he has to flee away. But one of the medevacs does end up going down once again.
He's going to get more of them, I think.
Ooh.
There will be a blink ready soon.
Nice.
Medevac full with units.
Yeah.
It's that's a sad thing to lose at this point of the game. Oh, and then also the base is going to get denied. But Welmu didn't see it. Okay, now he saw it. So he's going to kill the mules.
Poor little guys. They were dropped, but not really able to do much. As even Blinks Falls trying to take out this orbital command as well.
He's not going to get it. But at the same time, Welmu's making a 6th base. Bunch of cannons, High Templars already in position. There's nothing Hydra can do to stop this base. And I think he needs to sit... He needs to... well, he needs to do some damage now, Hydra.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to have some like incredible drops. But instead, he's just moving his whole army around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what you're supposed to do at this point, I think.
Well, with that now, I mean, you're right. I think Hydra needs to find some way to try and do damage, but he's not currently finding the opportunity to do so. This could be an opportunity. He could actually kill off this expansion down to the bottom left-hand corner whilst his opponent is way, way, way away. But still, even if he is able to kill this off, Welmu still has a fantastic bank. He's still doubling his opponent's supply right now. He's going to get the expansion, but I don't think that's going to win him the war just yet.
Well, it's a start.
It is a start, yeah.
If he can deny the other base as well, then, well, things will look a lot better for Hydra, of course. Oh, that's not a good place to fight. Oh, and he loses another medevac, and he's also all of these units. Oh, things are not looking too good right now.
And also, I mean, Welmu was preparing for those medevacs just in case they were able to fly over to that 4th base location. He had 2 High Templars ready and waiting there from the warp in to just shut those down. So I was about to say, sorry, Hydra, just go to the 4th base, but Welmu had that well covered and well prepared for. And look, he's even taking that base. He's forcing away the command center and just stealing it from him.
Also, there are 3 DTs in the main base. And there are no turrets, but there are some scans available.
Welmu's played this game out just so well.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. And, you know, now with that, unfortunately for DarkHydra, he's just being completely cautioned off from every single location. Welmu can retain bases with like 4 cannons and 2 High Templars and then just move around. Because you lose so much to those storms if you're not ready for it. It's really, really hard to deal with as a Terran against a Protoss. So, very, very good play here thus far by Welmu.
There are quite a few ghosts. They sniped a few of the High Templars, but there are still 3 High Templars left. And okay, no, there's 5 actually. All of them have storms. Oh, and Welmu is even donating some High Templars to him. He's being kind to Hydra. A little bit too kind, but it doesn't really matter. Because Hydra is not getting any mineral income at the moment. He's mining from 2 patches, while Welmu has 2 fully saturated bases, or 2.5 actually. And he's just controlling the area between his own bases and Hydra's. Hydra is going for a drop here. It's a clever thing to do. He's going to kill all the probes, but will it be enough?
No, he's going to try and bring down the Nexus. Those High Templars should be able to shoot that away. He's going to pick up everything and go away. Yeah, even gets High Templar there for a few Marines. That's a nice trade. But at the same time, the Zealots will clear up this expansion once again down to the bottom. And those 2 High Templar, those 2 Medivacs even, really not going to do much else here as long as he positions his High Templars correctly to go for the feedbacks on them.
Yeah, Hydra is trying his best to get in some more minerals. But there are Zealots blocking. There are, well, Welmu just killed an orbital. It's really hard for him to find any minerals. He started his Viking production again, so he'll have 8 Vikings in total. There are 5 Colossus, but they're not the only units that deal damage in this composition. I mean, there are Archons, Zealots, Stalkers, High Templars. They all deal a ton of damage. And Hydra has some units that deal damage, but he's so far behind at this point.
He's getting another robo facility. So he's going to go to 6 robos here in a second for more Dark Templars in. More gates, yes. More gates is very, very cool. Those DT is going to clean up all of this. It's actually being dropped. And there you go, guys. GG. Welmu advances on, and he will be playing Nurtio in the final series to determine who will advance on to Premier. The loser of that will stay in Challenger, but unfortunately for DarkHydra, he goes out of Challenger and will have to re-qualify next season. A valiant effort by our 16-year-old German player. I think he's 16. He may be 17 now, but I'm going to go with 16. And hopefully we'll see him back in Challenger next season. All right, guys, so that means we shall go on to our next series in just a little bit. So join us after the break, where we shall have the conclusion of Group H between Nurtio and Welmu.